Hello. Happy Thursday. I hope you all are having a good evening. I am Tiana Nichelle, serial entrepreneur. I have an empowerment app, Empower Society. It's a mobile app for families of individuals with disabilities, but I also provide daily inspiration, motivational quotes, and messages. Um, what else do I do? I have a nonprofit organization, Empower Society, that connects family to resources, families that have children with disabilities, connects them to resources and services and things of that nature. So check us out. Download the mobile app, Google Play, Apple App Store. I am also an empowerment coach, and I do a whole lot of stuff, honey. Um, but I also have these conversations, so we're gonna get into it. So tonight's conversation is the silent battles. Um, People need encouragement. So I have been in some of these groups, and I actually had some phone calls this week that really, people are really going through life, right? And needed some encouragement, some direction, some coaching, all of that kind of stuff. And so I'm glad to do it. Like, I'm glad that God has given me that gift to empower other people. I love it. But everybody does not have a person in their life that does that, but it is very necessary. You do not know what anyone is going through. You don't know what your spouse is going through. You don't know what your significant other, if you're not married, you might be dating someone. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what your kids are going through. You don't know because everybody doesn't tell everything. And so it is very important for us to intentionally encourage the people that we are connected to because we don't know what they are dealing with specifically, but it also makes a big difference in the relationship and how people connect to us. So, hello, for those of you who are joining. Um, Encouraging people only takes words. It's very, it don't cost you nothing, but it's priceless. And I realize there are so many people that are going through so much loss, financial troubles, people that are getting laid off, the economy has shifted, people that are just dealing with stuff internally in their minds. Um, People still dealing with childhood trauma, all types of stuff that nobody says. We get on these platforms and we think that everybody has everything together. And honey, they don't. People in your own household do not have it all together. And they're not going to tell you the ins and outs of what they're thinking, how they're feeling. That's why it's important to be intentional to encourage those people that you come in contact with on a daily basis because you just never know what they are going through. Some people are having suicidal thoughts right as we are talking, and they might be in our household and we don't even know it. I was having a conversation about kids because this a lot of adults think that kids don't go through stuff. But if we think back to when we were kids, we went through stuff and our parents didn't even know it. Some went through bullying, some went through the mean girls, some went through awkwardness that led to you being maybe ostracized or talked about in school. Some people dealt with abuse. Maybe it was in the household, maybe it was outside the household, maybe it happened at school. Some kids, some of us as kids dealt with some ish and we didn't tell our parents. Maybe because we were scared, maybe we were ashamed, or maybe we were told not to say anything. But whatever the situation might have been, um, it affected us as adults if we're really being honest. Everything from childhood affected us in adulthood because nobody back then talked about, going to counseling, therapy, and parents didn't have the emotional conversations. Like, mental health is not necessarily a thing, right? Especially in our communities, Black and Latino communities, is not really a thing. We don't have these conversations. For most Black people, you said 100, yeah, it's not really a thing. And for most Black people, it was kind of taboo to talk about going to see a counselor. You would be put in like the crazy box or something if you were going to see a counselor back in the day. But parents, their approach to things back then would be like, okay, what do you have to really worry about? You don't have to pay bills, but you don't know what that kid is going through internally, because if they're scared to verbalize what is happening to them, they're not going to say anything. And especially if the parent is more of an authoritarian, instead of actually bonding, doing things to bond with that child, the child is not going to open up. And I talked about this before when I talked about kids' mental health, probably about a year ago. It's on my YouTube channel. You go to Tiana Nichelle the Visionary, you will be able to find, it's like 50 videos on my YouTube channel from previous conversations, but that's up there. But it's very important that we address the elephant in the room. We dealt with a lot of stuff as kids, and it just dragged on into adulthood. And now we're dealing with issues because we didn't know to deal with them as children, or as teenagers or young adults. We 30, 40, 50 something and ain't dealt with nothing, and then realizing, okay, well, maybe I didn't do this right, or trying to figure out why we don't have good relationships with people. Now you're trying to figure out a whole lot of things later on in life, but a lot of this stuff starts as children. So I want to talk about being intentional about encouraging the people that are around you, even encouraging yourself. I talked about this with affirmations. If you talk to God, if you, because I had a Bible app on my phone. I'm just going to say it. I have the Bible app on my phone, and I read my scriptures. I pray. I talk to God. It's very important. It has helped me through a lot of different things. Also, I do affirmations. So I actually created an affirmations book that's on my website, and it's a downloadable book, so it's nothing that you have to get a physical copy of if you're interested in purchasing it. But I actually created an affirmations book for 365 days, okay? And I use those affirmations. Some of those affirmations I actually post. I actually send out in the app. So you wind up getting small doses of it, but if you need the whole shebang, it's there. I do affirmations for myself. In my relationships, I realize that it's very important to affirm the person that you are with. A lot of times, we as women don't even look at the things that men go through. We never take ourselves out of our daily issues to see how our men are doing, right? Because we're looking like, well, we go through all of this, we got to deal with this. But it's like, if you're in a relationship, it's important for both of you all to connect on a deeper level. And empowering your significant other is another way to be connecting on a deeper level. you have to pour into your partner because they deal with so much as individuals. They also are not telling you the things. You said great topic. What you're saying is so true. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Thank you. I'm actually live on Facebook and Instagram. So if you see me go over here, that's Instagram. If you see me over here, I'm on Facebook. But pouring into your partner is very important because you don't know the battles that they deal with. They don't tell you everything. I was in a relationship with someone years ago, and we had been together off and on for some time. And he had actually just revealed like a lot of stuff that he was dealing with internally, which now I understand why we had so much friction at certain points in our relationship that we winded up splitting because, you know, he was going through what he was going through in his mind. And he felt like him expressing it would make me look at him like he was less than a man. And I'm like, dude, like seriously? But then I had to take a step back and I'm like, okay, you know, men have ego. Like we as women have ego, but they ego be a little bit bigger, and they have a lot of pride, right? So they want us to think that they can handle a whole lot of stuff, and sometimes they really can't handle a whole lot of stuff, and especially if it's emotional stuff, they a lot of times shut down. It's the where they stop talking, or they're real short, or they're not doing things that they were once doing before. So it's like different things. You know your partner, so you know when they become a little withdrawn. When they become a little withdrawn, and I'm just telling you this based on my own experience, it might be something that they are dealing with. So my advice in that area is to pour into your partner because they may not want to talk to you about it. They may not want to tell you about it, but shoot them a text like, you know, or find something. Shoot them a text that's saying, hey, you know, you're strong, you're powerful, you're resilient, you're intelligent, something to that effect, right? That's going to make them be like, okay, you know, we both need that. And men do the same thing for women. Your woman needs it, you know, especially if she's a mom. Um, you know, she's a mompreneur, meaning, you know, entrepreneur and mom. She is a businesswoman. She's going to that 9 to 5. She's trying to do and take care of everything. Pour into your woman. She needs it. She definitely needs it. But definitely our children need it. It starts from the head down, though. If you are parents, or you know, you have kids or whatever, step kids, adoptive kids, you're still parents. So if you are parents, what you do with one another, the kids see it. So it's very important for you to encourage one another so that you're connected like this, right? But you're also acknowledging that person on another level. So, but your kids see it. Your kids will see it, and they will gain strength in what they see you all do in your relationship. But also pouring into your children, like I was saying, you don't know what they're dealing with. Children go through a lot of things that they don't tell their parents. They deal with a lot of situations that they just keep inside, and then you're wondering why they have attitudes where they are withdrawn, where they are having all of these different behavior issues in school. They're lashing out. Pay attention to the fact that they're more isolated than they were before. That means something is going on. If there's a change in their routine to where they were once more free in their expressions and now they're more reserved or you don't really hear anything, pay attention to those things. But I would say to encourage them on a daily basis. It's very important to encourage your kids as well, because they go through things, and we already know, like I said, what we went through as kids, and a lot of us didn't tell our parents half the stuff. We wind up telling our parents stuff, and we like but grown. I'm 38 years old. Like, I started telling my mom stuff in my 30s, my early 30s. So it's like we have to really, if we want to have better relationships with our kids, want them to have better experiences, we want our partners to have better experiences with us, then we need to cultivate that type of a relationship. And we as women are more emotionally equipped to do stuff like this than men are. Most of our men don't do the affirmations and all that kind of stuff. They don't necessarily tap into their emotions the way that we do. That's why it's important for us to do it, because we're the ones, like the emotional gatekeepers, where we're more sensitive, but we also are tuned in to the emotions of the people around us. A lot of times we pick up on stuff that men don't see because they ain't doing all that. But God has equipped us with a special gift that makes us more emotionally in tune with a lot of things, where we can be like, that person got a little something going on. Now you may not want to be involved with that, or you might be like, he was doing this yesterday, and that's not really his norm. So maybe I should, talk to him and make sure everything is going okay, kind of thing. Most women are really tapped in, especially those of us who have healed. I can't say that I was this way when I was in my unhealed seasons, because I wasn't emotionally tapped in, connected, or anything of that nature. I've learned to be this way. I have learned to be more intentional. It's also in my prayers. When I pray, I always pray for God to help me to see people the way that He sees them. So it makes me have more compassion for people in their situations than I ever had before. People that knew me, previously, my previous life, that's how I like to describe it, being mean and all of that stuff, because I had been hurt. And so hurt people, right? I didn't care what nobody else was going through, because I was going through my own stuff. But at the end of the day, through my own healing journey, my own walk with God, my own coaching sessions, I have learned and have coached other people on how to heal themselves first. But then once you heal yourself, you learning how to do things better, learning to have more grace for yourself, but also practicing that for other people, which can be very challenging, especially if you've dealt with things that were like violations. Maybe you were sexually abused, maybe you were physically abused, maybe you dealt with some cheating, the infidelity or whatever. And so those things make you a little bit more on edge, a little bit more not trusting. And then you're like trying to find stuff, wrong with a person because of your own trauma. That's when you really need to get into some healing. But and I can have this conversation because I have done a lot of work on myself, and it's not something that ever stops though. Like, yeah, people be like, oh yeah, I got healed, and then everything in my life is so wonderful. No, it's a daily process, okay? Because it be choice words that I want to have for people when they do something to me. I'm not even gonna lie, but I have learned to be like, maybe they going through something. So let me back up. I'm just going to not. There are moments where I be like, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna let them, you know, because they might be going through a little something. There's other times where I'd be like, let me pour into this person, and they be looking at me like, girl, because the natural response is for you to snap, or people be looking for that when you've already, like, when you've been known to do that. And I don't do that no more. Like, I just be like, okay, what are they going through? Something not right. I'm just gonna let you do whatever it is you need to do, get you together, and then when you got you together, we can have a conversation. Cause I'm not finna stay here, argue, and do all that extra stuff. So, yes, but like I was saying, we as women are more emotionally in tune than men are. And so we can pick up on those things. And so when we pick up on those things, we need to address them. Um, Pouring into one another and encouraging one another is something that is very much so needed, and it makes so much of a difference in the long run. It makes your relationship happier, healthier. It makes people feel seen when that's done. Even kids need so much validation. They need affirmations. They need all of those things, because life does get stressful, because they're trying to figure out the journey. They're told to do things this way. They go to school and something is this way. You know, we can give them advice on how to handle, you know, a situation with maybe one of their friends, and then it turns out to be something else because that's based on our experience, and then they wind up experiencing something else. So they're trying to figure out life, and sometimes life be life in their world, and they need that extra boost of encouragement. Our girls especially, my goodness. Well, actually girls and boys, but our girls, I feel like our girls don't receive the affirmations, the attention that they need. They're kind of left to their own devices, if that makes sense. A lot of us learned from being around other girls how to conduct ourselves. So again, that was trial and error. And then we learned about, you know, the mean girls and, you know, all of that kind of stuff, which is why a lot of us as grown women do not really have female friends, because we're looking at how women conduct themselves and the messiness that might come along with it and all of that kind of stuff. So we look at that kind of stuff. And we like, nah, that's okay. And I can say that I've done that. I had more male friends because I grew up with guys. I was a tomboy at one point, so it was easier for me to be friends with them because you know, back in the day, my hair was all over my head. I was not with you know, with the makeup and all of that and wearing the purses and all. Like, I wasn't doing none of that. I didn't care about none of that. That was not. So I can go. I can be myself. I could talk mess just like they talk mess. Play basketball. Do whatever it was. Climbing trees. I climbed trees, child. Playing with bugs in the dirt. Like, I did everything the boys was doing. So, I liked being around them because of that. But, like, being around girls was really, really a difficult thing. And I wish that somebody had have guided me better in that area as a kid, because it was just like, okay, I don't want to do all that. I didn't really want to do all of that. But it's a lot of women now who still feel that way, like, where they don't really want to have relationships with women. But it's like, we actually do need those relationships with other women because we need to connect. So we got to put away that mean girl mentality, that whole, oh, she out to get me, or whatever the case may be, because we just need to do better, because we're the ones who are the nurturers. We're the ones that cultivate a lot of things, and we set the tone for a lot of things, and it starts when we're girls. So if we get our girls together, boost their self-esteem, if we are pouring into our girls, it will help them to be better women in the long run. The same is true for boys. Pouring into boys is very important. It's very rare that people pour into boys, and you can see it in the men. And I've had this conversation, this debate with women who are like, well, what about us? And there are organizations, there are more organizations for women and girls than there are men and boys. There are that pour into women and girls, but really there are not a lot of organizations that pour into boys, and boys really need it because, one, they're the ones that's supposed to be the leaders. They're supposed to be the heads of households, but they don't have an example many times because the fathers are not there. And before you women come and be like, oh, well, you know, my father wasn't there, so, but you had your mother. Your mother showed you how to be a woman in some way, shape, form, or fashion if your mother was there or your grandmother was there. So you had some type of a figure. Just think about growing up in a household where there is nobody that looks like you, and you in a household full of women. Then that does something to your self-esteem because you don't know what it is like to be around a man, or you don't have a role model in your household to look up to as a man. And so the only thing you have is your mom, but your mom is not a man, so she can't teach you how to be a man. And moms can't teach men how to be men, boys how to be men. Like, that's not, because you don't know what that comes with. We are not aware of all of the stages and phases that boys go through. And men went through those things, right? So we can guide the girls and tell them, you know, we can tell them about puberty, about hormones, about periods, how to put the pads on. Dads ain't teaching these girls how to do all that now. I mean, there are some single dads that have learned it, but we know the ins and outs of that thing. We know about pregnancy and childbirthing and all of those things. There's different stages and phases that women know about women, but it's the same thing. The same is true for men. So it takes men to raise the boys, but when the men are not there, what are the boys supposed to gravitate towards in order for them to get their confidence, their self-esteem, them to be leaders? There needs to be some pouring into those boys, because eventually those boys will be men. And how are they going to lead if they have nothing to go on? So it's important to link up with mentors, male mentors. Maybe you can find them in school, some of the organizations. Linking up with a male mentor will make a world of a difference in a boy's life. Actually encouraging your boy, empowering him, giving him words of affirmation, telling him he's a king, telling him not to settle, you know. And this is the other conversation I was having where boys are taught, if they mess around with like all of these different girls, that's like they're the man, or all of this different stuff. And it's like it has led to a lot of poor decision making and all of these baby mama, baby daddy situations, because it has been well, I'm just gonna say society has normalized that and made boys feel like they're men when they do that. But in all actuality, they're creating soul ties. They're creating situations to where they're going to be connected to women who they don't want to be connected to, because they have gotten them pregnant on a oops, or I really didn't know, or I didn't think that was going to happen like that. So our boys, we have to really pour into our boys so they can be more intentional with who they lay down with. That's really important, because all of women, let's just be honest, a lot of us is not healed. And when we were not healed, we was doing some wild stuff. acting a fool, like not being uh not being of moral character, I should say. And so there's no way when you're in that unhealed space that you should be connecting with someone or procreating with them. There's this no, that should not be happening, but it is. And so a lot of men have come in contact with us in our unhealed seasons, and we was a hot mess. So we have to really be intentional about what we're telling our boys, how we're training them up, what we're saying to them. It can't just be about them that daddy's not being around or whatever the case may be, because that's not even their faults, and we got to stop including. I am a stickler for that. Do not include children in grown folks' business. Keep grown folks' business with grown folks, okay? But being intentional about pouring into those boys, placing men around them that will be of a good influence, because you may not think that it'll make a difference, and they might fight you on it, but in the long run it will do them a world of good to have men of moral character in their life so that they can make different decisions, and they're not just putting their seed everywhere. They're not just doing things because it's cool to do or because a rapper does it. They will have their own mind to say, no, I think that I want to do things like this because this makes more sense to me. Or, no, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. They'll have their own goals. They'll be able to use wisdom in a lot of decisions, given the right tools. Children are like that anyway. You give them the right tools, you pour into them. I used to be a teacher, was a stepmom, helped raise siblings. I'm telling you something I know. I was a teacher for a while. When you take the time to pour into kids, it reaps a harvest like none other. And those kids they grow up to be adults that are totally confident in themselves and their abilities. They grow up to have more goals and dreams, and they're more intentional about what they want to do and where they want to go in their life. And so it's really important. So this conversation tonight, let me look at the comments. This conversation tonight was about, you never know what anybody is going through, from your spouse to your kids, even your parents. You never know what anyone is going through. So have grace, but also be intentional about pouring into more people, because people need it. It will stop a lot of I feel like if people were more sensitive to other people and not always about themselves, it could help a lot of people who are having mental health crisis to feel seen, to feel heard. People will, I feel like, will get more help if they feel like that they're supported in that. And really being intentional about helping just those around us to just be better in every way possible. And really, it's really starting with the kids. It really, really starts with the kids. There's a book that I read about, and this is on a spiritual level. So I read this book by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil, and he talks about how the devil uses children to, to carry out whatever the mission is, which we've seen that time and time again, and especially now we have kids committing more crimes and doing more crazy things than what we did when we were younger. Like, our craziness was staying out past the street lights coming on, and our parents, whooping our butts or yelling at us, or maybe we snuck off to see the person we really liked, or we went places like to the mall and we wasn't supposed to be at the mall. We were supposed to be at school or something. We did goofy stuff like that. These kids are actually committing crimes, okay? They actually committing crimes, stealing cars, stealing clothes, and all types of stuff. So it's gotten worse. But this book talks about how the devil just uses the kids and manipulates the situations with kids, and then when they get them when he gets them as kids, it's because they can be manipulated enough, and by the time they become adults, he would have already started his process. That's why it's really important to be in tune with God and be praying over your kids now, praying over your generations, praying over yourself, honey. But it's really good to get in tune with your kids, so that as they grow, they will make different decisions, better decisions, and they will not be followers. So let me see. I'm looking at the comments. So with that, I do want to tell you, so I actually have affirmation cards. They're free, totally free. The link is in my bio that you can download. It's downloadable. And they look like this, that you can print out for your kids, put them anywhere. I created these. You won't be able to find these nowhere else. And you can hang them up, put them anywhere you want to put them, over their bed, around their room, on the mirror. There's more. I initially created these for Down syndrome awareness, but I decided to put them up so that all parents can be able to use these cards for their kids. And whatever, because one of the cards says, I rock this extra chromosome. So if you don't have a child with Down syndrome, you can just discard this one. But the rest of these cards, I feel like, are going to make a world of a difference in your kid's life by having these cards in their room. So make sure that you download it. It's totally free. There is no cost. You just put in your information and you will receive the download in your email, whatever email you use at checkout. Also, the Empower Society app in Google Play, Apple App Store, daily messages for you. You need empowerment, or what you could do is download the app, screenshot the message, and send it to whoever you feel needs it, okay? Because I feel like we just need to really be more intentional about pouring into one another. Let's see. What else? Also, okay, Saturday, the 25th, I'm doing my second sibling workshop of this year. We're going to be talking about goal setting for those of you who have siblings with disabilities. This workshop is really for you. So it is a free workshop, but you have to register in order to get the Zoom link. The link is in my bio, so just go to my bio. I believe it's the first button, and register so you can reserve your seats. What else? Let's see. If you are looking for, because I do these videos, I have the podcast, Empower Society podcast is on your Spotify. What else? What else is coming up? Oh, so all of you who follow me know that I'm in a relationship. and he has his own YouTube channel, and he does a Let's Pour. So if you need the male Let's Pour version, the male version of me, you can go to his page, and he gives wonderful, wonderful empowerment messages. Um, his information, I think I had I'll link it. I'll link it so that you'll be able to connect. If you are a mom with sons, he has the WIN Foundation, which we will be having sessions in the summer with that foundation, with his foundation. And so if you are a mom who needs a mentor for your boy, he is doing that. I'm actually thinking about doing something with the girls. So I'll keep you updated on that. April 29th, we are going to feed people in need. I can send you guys that information if you all want to volunteer for that. We will be out there, I want to say 11 a.m., but I'll link it in my bio so that you'll be able to know. And May 20th, we'll be doing prayer in the park. That is at 8 a.m. and I am going to post the flyer for that. I'm actually going to post the flyer for everything. Everything is going to be linked in my bio too. So you'll be able to go to that. What else? And then in October, okay, so Empower Society is doing the supply drive, guys. And the supply drive, we're starting in July this year. We usually do it in August, but we're going to go from July 1st to August 25th for the supply drive. So if you want to donate school supplies for families that have children with disabilities who are in need of book bags and all of that kind of stuff, you can send that, send in your donations. If you would like to donate monetarily, you just go to empowersociety21.org and you can /donate, you can donate. If you are arranging pickup for those school supplies, please contact me directly. I believe the phone number is, I think I linked it in my bio. But if not, just email me and we can arrange that. And let's see, in October, we are having a sneaker ball for families of individuals with disabilities. It's going to be amazing. We already have the speakers lined up. We already have the venue. We need y'all to come out, support. It's going to be an amazing time. You'll be able to connect with other families. You will be able to, because the speakers that are coming out, they have different services that'll help you with your child. They have different businesses. And we're going to have goodies. We're going to have dancing. We're going to have a good old time. So that will be in October. I believe the exact date is October 8th. So I want y'all to save the date on that too. Your girl's going to be doing quite a few things. In between, I'm actually doing, I missed April 22nd. April 22nd, I am doing a Best Buddies walk in Soldier Field. So if you all would like to join me, I'm actually on the committee for that. If you all would like to join the Best Buddies walk, I will put the link in my bio. Actually tomorrow it will be available for you so that you can register, and you can raise money for Best Buddies. What else? I'm trying to think. So many things going on. Child, I'm going to have to put everything in my calendar. So Back to Saturday. Saturday is the sibling workshop. Do not miss it. Register. It's free. Give you some tips and tricks on how to accomplish your goals while supporting your sibling with a disability. Child, I know this stuff firsthand, baby, because your girl has gotten masters, then did all her doctoral classes, child, while helping take care of my sister before she passed, take care of my sister for many, many years, though, who had Down syndrome. So we're just going to get into goal setting and how to accomplish those goals on Saturday. It's on Zoom. Once you register, and it's free, you will be sent the Zoom information. So, and that starts at 10 a.m. It's from 10 to 12. What else? Child, it's a lot of stuff. I need to link all this stuff. So the link for the sibling workshop is in my bio already. And the other events will be available tomorrow morning, where you can see everything that is going on. And you can put those events in your calendar, honey. And what else? Don't forget to get your free, child, it's free. It's free. Get your affirmation cards for your kids. Go into the link in my bio and download the affirmation cards, child. And affirm your kids every day with these affirmation cards, okay? And don't forget to download my app, Empower Society, Google Play, Apple App Store. Get your daily empowerment messages. If you are a parent or caretaker of an individual with disabilities, there are businesses and resources and services for you. If you have a business that caters to individuals in our community and you want to be listed, go to empowersociety21.org. Go to the business listing and go ahead and register your business. There are 2 different fees for that, $10 a month, and then a $20 a month one. It's all self-explanatory. You'll see it. Once you have made those payments, then you will receive a confirmation. Within 48 hours, your business will be listed on the app so other people can connect. Baby, you are missing out on the opportunity to get your business visible before over 10,000 people, clients, customers, because a lot of people have downloaded the app and a lot of people look at it. They see the messages. We also, I think the $20 one is the one that your business is kind of on rotation. Not kind of, it is on rotation. So just like the daily messages come up, your business comes up as an advertisement. And we would, advertise your business on there every week. So the businesses that you are, for those of you who are already downloaded the app, the businesses that you see that are in rotation weekly, those are the businesses that have the $20 a month listing. So, and we've gotten very good feedback from a lot of people. A lot of parents have told me that they really love the app. The app is free to download. There is no fee for parents. We do not charge organizations. The only people that are charged are actual business owners. So you own a sandwich shop, you pay $10 a month, $20 a month, whichever one you decide to select. What else? I think that's it, y'all. Go empower each other. Go pour into one another. I'm just going to leave you with that. It makes a world of a difference. Empower your spouse. It will make so much of a difference in your relationship. I'm telling you. For men, empower your girl, your wife, whoever she is, your significant other. When you do that, because for us, the romance starts outside the bedroom. So it's once you start doing that, it will change some things with her. Women, it will change some things with him. Moms and dads, it will change some things with your kids. I pray that you all have received this and you will adhere to the words that I'm saying as far as empowering and pouring into your kids and your families being very important. I pray that you all have a wonderful night, that you will be encouraged, and that you will also get good rest. Knowing that God is taking care of everything, child. He is wonderful. So, thank you all for joining me tonight, and I will see you again next week. Oh, yes. Please make sure that you, I am dropping a new episode on Spotify, Empower Society podcast. So, tomorrow, go to your Spotify and listen to the episodes. Yeah. But I will see you back on here next week. You all have a wonderful night. Bye.